Hi, YouTube family. This is Victoria Shakoor with another video. I hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend and is having a productive life. For those of you who don't know who I am Victoria Shakoor, a life coach and assisting single parents in raising respectable, loving, responsible, respectful children. And these videos were encouraged by friends and family members who know the work that I do, and just from receiving advice throughout the years from me to make these videos to reach out to those of us who are single parents and are raising children. The intention for these videos is to inspire thought, to be motivational and healing for us as single parents, because we get such a bad rap in the media of being parents and being single as parents, which is nothing new. We've been doing this for thousands of years. However, the media has played this to be like a plague or something terrible on the society, dis-ease in the society. And while I don't encourage to be or promote being a single parent is the best way to raise children, it is a reality that we have in our society, and especially in our African communities or so-called communities. There's a lot of us, and we just don't get the encouragement, the support, and the love that we deserve in doing our best in raising our children. So that's the intentions of these videos. If this is your first time viewing my video, I'm very passionate about children. And this is a big subject when speaking about being a single parent. And as I begin to do these videos and begin to speak with people on a one-on-one basis, I realize that this is a big subject, because it's not just about raising children. When speaking in that subject, I also have to delve into other things dealing with you as a parent, as a person, as a woman, as a man. And in doing that and helping you to raise respectable children and be thought-provoking and think about things that you say to your children and how you treat them and why you treat them the way you do and why you say the things that you say. So it's a huge sensitive, serious subject, and that may explain why I have not found a whole lot of support and assistance out there for single parents. I've seen a lot of books and DVDs and CDs on parenting, which single parents can use to help us in raising our children, but not target specific to single parents. So I thank you for subscribing, those of you who have subscribed to my channel. I thank those of you who have left comments, who have asked questions, who have requested one-on-one connections with me. I do appreciate that, and I thank you so much, because that allows me to go deeper into my thought and meditation on this work. And I consider myself to be a light worker. And I welcome those in the community that are doing this work, and we can begin to have think tanks around this country in this matrix on getting back to our village of helping each other with our children. So I appreciate you. And I honor you as a single parent, because your job is tremendous. It could be tiring, and it is very valuable. You are the most important person in this matrix in this day and time with our children, just because of the matrix that we live in. So I want you to know that. I want you to know that you're not alone, that you do have the support that you need, if from nowhere else, from me in these videos. And I hope that you can feel that reaching out to you whether you are a single father or a single mother. And I know a lot of my subjects hit on single mothers because that's what I am, a single mom. And as I mentioned before in a previous video, I'm not the mother and the father. I'm the mother in my home, and that's it. And you can't change my mind on that. Okay, I do not want to be the father as well. We have two different methods on raising our children, although we're doing the same thing. So I hit on that in the last video, and I know someone had requested that I do a part 2 to that, to some of the other issues and questions that may have arose from that video, and I will soon. However, this video, the intention is to bring forth an observation that I've been noticing and have been noticing in my life. You know, there's so much to talk about when it comes to raising children, just from my own personal experience. And as I mentioned before, everything that I say to you is my opinion, and my experience, and my opinion, and my research. Okay, and I will do my best to always give you something to go and research, and something to a book to read, or a person to listen to help you in your journey in raising your children, whether you have a young baby right now to teenagers, and maybe you're having a wonderful relationship and how you can even enhance that relationship, or if you're not having a good relationship with your children. And I will say, and I will always say again, to start with, stop calling them kids. They are children. We are human beings, and we have babies, and they turn into toddlers, and they turn into children, and they grow up to be young adults, and then adults, teenagers, young adults, and then adults. So that's what we have. We don't have kids. We don't have kids, okay? So I want to bring that to your attention. I want you to know some things that I say, I'm very raw with what I say, but I do watch how I say things because it's important. I'm the communicator, and I think it's important for a person, as being a communicator, to be responsible for how they say things and how they get their point across to people, because it's my job to make sure that you understand what I'm saying to you, and I don't take that lightly. Now, that being said, this issue that I have been observing for a while, and even as a girl growing up in my household, and that is the single mothers, or I should say single parents. I don't see a lot of men doing this, but I do see a lot of our women doing this, and that is speaking bad about that absent parent, that father that's not around. You know, things that we've heard like, oh, you just like your daddy. You know, you ain't gonna be no good just like him. Or, you know, well, he don't care nothing about you. Call and ask him for this and that and this and that, and you'll see he ain't gonna do nothing. And all these different things that we say that are negative about the parent that's not there. And I really want you to think about what you are saying to your children and how that is affecting them, because is a dis-ease in the household. This causes dysfunction in the household, and I want you to think about that. This has been heavy on my heart, and I've meditated on how can I bring this to your attention. So I want you to know that what I'm saying is out of love. It may be tough love. It may be hard to hear, but you need to hear it. Sister, you need to hear it, okay? Because I implore you to think about what you're doing and what you're saying to your children and how that is affecting them. And it is affecting them in a negative way. Think about that. When every time you look at that child and you say things negative about that parent that's not there, that father. Now, like I said, I see more women doing this. So that father that's not there in the household. And then when he calls the children, or let's say they meet him, or maybe they don't know him and they've never met him, whatever the situation is, you should not do this. You just shouldn't do this. This is affecting them on so many levels. Think about this. It's affecting them mentally, emotionally, And those are the two things in our lives and how we carry ourselves in our lives. And so when you are saying these things, if you have sons, okay, and whether they have met their father or they are in communication with their father, think about that in their subconscious mind when they're talking to that man, how they're feeling and things that he's saying or whatever their conversation is. And then they hear this from you. And I'm going to tell you something. That's going to backfire on you. When they get older, they're going to resent you for doing that. Trust me. They're going to resent you for doing that, whether they know him or not, because children have a bond. It's a unseen bond with both parents, more so with the mother because we carry them, we had them, we gave birth to them. However, they still do have that certain bond with their father as well. And I have watched this with myself and being careful not to say anything negative and even not to let them hear me saying anything negative about their father. Because what is that saying about them? They know that they're connected with that parent in some way, some form or fashion, because they are a part of that person. So when you say you're just like your daddy, or you look just like your dad and they know you don't like that dad, they're connecting this together and it's causing a negative um, effect on your children. When you look at when you're saying this to your daughters, what is she going to think about the man that comes in her life? How is she going to choose a good man in her life? What does she have to gauge that with? Because trust me, they're going to find out about this person as they get older. I've seen that with my own children. And this was something I didn't do with my children because I knew that, they're going to learn about who their father are as they get older and as they communicate with him. They're going to find out if he's an a-hole or not. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do anything because if a person is an a-hole, okay, if they are rotten, if they're on drugs, if they are whatever, your children will learn that on their own. Trust me. They're going to learn that on their own. They're going to see the goodness in that person and they're going to see the not so good in that person, just like you have. And what does that say about you? You laid with that person. You obviously was in love or liked something about that person that you had these children with them or that child with them at that time. Unless you was just drunk or raped or something like that, you liked that person that you was with. So what does that say about you? Okay, so you will have those children who are thinking, children who will think about that. And they may not tell you, but they're thinking, okay, well, you lay with him. What did you think about him then? You had me, you know. So, and I want you to also, when you say things like that, if you're not catching yourself, I want you to really look at your child when you say that. I mean, really, really look at them. I know you're looking at them when you say it because you're in your zone and you in your thing, your negative zone with that other person, and you're going in. But you're going in and you're projecting your stuff onto your child, and that is not fair. As a parent, that's not responsible. That's not loving at all. There's nothing good in that at all. Not at all. And single mothers, I want to tell you, I know you're angry. I know you're hurt. I know you're upset. You cannot take this out on your child. It's not right. They ain't asked to come here as far as we know. They ain't asked to come here. And you as a parent have a responsibility of guiding them through their lives. And you have all this anger and this baggage and you need to get rid of it, and you're getting rid of it through your children, which is going to perpetuate this type of behavior and attitude when they get older. And I want to say something to you, African women. You learned that behavior from your mom, right? And your mom learned it from her mom. I don't need a man. He ain't no good, no way. And blah, 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 this and that about that person. And that has been perpetuated throughout your generational family. And somewhere along the line, you need to stop. You're going to have to cut that. It's like a curse. And you're going to have to cut that off through your children. That's how you do it. Through your children. say, well, that wasn't right. You know, I grew up, I got to know my father, and we're human. No one is perfect. However, I got to know my dad as I got older. My dad was there for us. This is my personal story. My dad was there for us. My mom and my father were divorced, and my mother was her psychology was very smooth and it was very slick. However, I was one of those children who were able to discern things and I always questioned things. And as I got older and got to know my father, I realized my father was a good man. That was between them. That had nothing to do with me. My father could have left and not been around, but he was around. And he did the best that he can do. Do you know, for a long time, we didn't even know they were divorced. We didn't know they were divorced because he was there until we went to bed. And then he went home. And it was my father's choice to protect us from that negativity. And he did what he could to protect us emotionally from that divorce. That's a good man. Very responsible. And even to this day, my dad calls me and we have a wonderful relationship. So I was not angry with my mom, but I questioned, why did you do that? Why did you say such these bad things about my dad to us? And look at my brothers, you know, and what damaged and what effect that had on them. She have to face that, you know, and I'm one of those I'm responsible for what I say and do, and I face that and deal with it. And in a nice and respectful way, I challenged my mother to deal with that. And she apologized. She won't admit to it totally. But the things that I have pointed out, she did finally face that and apologize. So I'm saying this through experience and through observation, as that's not healthy. And you want your children to be healthy. You want them to respect you. You want them to grow up and be responsible and loving human beings. And if you have sons, what do you want them to think about women and about our women in particular, the black women? Listen, with that attitude, young women, if you're watching this video, with that attitude, I don't know, no man need to tell me anything, and I'm not going to listen to nothing you have to say, and you just have this horrible attitude because you learned that was a learned behavior, okay? And you need to break that. And what's happening is you women, you older women in your 30s and your 40s, and you have raised these other women with that type of attitude, what is happening is you're causing our men to run to another race. You're making them run from us. You're making them angry. You're making them not like us. And then you're wondering why they choose another race. Another race haven't had to deal with what we've had to deal with. I'm not condoning what they're doing. However, we do play an important part in that. And you must face that and understand that. Okay, and overstand that, understand that. We do place play an important role in how our men are feeling about us because so much was taken from us. And you know, I will always bring you back to that because it's a subject that we don't like to talk about. We don't like to bring it up and all these different things. However, it's like a doctor. When you go to the doctor, he asks you things about your history. You know, do your parents and grandparents, is there diabetes in the family? If there's this in the family, why does he do that? To get to the root of maybe what caused this particular situation. And in our instance, descendants of slaves in this matrix, we have to understand why we are behaving the way we are behaving. Why did mom behave the way she did? Why did dad behave the way he did? Because they both have been hurt. However, in my opinion, as a woman, being left unprotected, and which causes our children to be unprotected men, this allows for other race to come in and pillage and do whatever they want to do. Whenever a race of men leave the women unprotected, and that leaves the children unprotected, that allows for another race to come in and just do whatever. And so our sons are being jailed, ridiculous sentences that don't even fit the crime. They shouldn't be doing crime. However, when they go in front of these judges and these just us people, they're being sentenced ridiculously. They're being gunned down. all kinds of stuff. They're doing things to us in the hospitals, and it's so much. The subject is huge. So I want to hit on that point too, to the men, to, you know, try to get some empathy with us, because you've always dealt with us. You've always had the strength to deal with a black woman. You know, we've always had our opinions, and why would you want a woman that don't have an opinion in the first place? But it's how we project that opinion, women. And this is what I'm seeing where the issues are coming about in the relationship between us. And so you guys know how I do. I kind of have to go over here in order to bring it back over here and what I'm talking about, and it hit on, because it's so much, and everything is everything. Like Lauryn Hill said, everything is everything. Everything is connected. So in order for me to assist you in raising children, I also have to talk about other things to connect with raising children, because it's your attitude, it's your character, it's your words, your feelings, and all of that you're projecting into your children. So I want you to be aware of that. I want you to start to check yourself when you're doing that, because you are doing your children such a dishonor in doing that. You're not honoring them as your children. And you need to know that and look at that. So I hope this video helps. I'm going to end that. I hope it was a healing for you. And sometimes in healing, there's a little pain, and then the healing comes. So go through the pain. If I hit a nerve, ask yourself why you're feeling that way. Why does that bother me when she said that? Why did that bother me like that? And go back into your family history of how you were raised and things that were said to you. And then you can go begin to heal and cleanse that out of your subconscious and out of your energy, so that you now can raise your children and heal them as well, and release that curse, is what I call it. It's a curse, and it's a dysfunction in our family, and we need to not do that. If you don't have anything nice to say about that other parent, don't say anything about them at all. You know, I don't mention my children's father at all. I do look for the good things in him, should there come a reason for me to mention him. And I will say the one thing that I can say is that he's a good provider. He is an awesome provider. He was fortunate enough to have my children by someone who had a very good paying job. So he was a good provider. And that was it. There was nothing else. We had nothing in common whatsoever. Not compatible at all. However, we did have these 4 beautiful children. And so because you had these children by that person, there was something in that person that you liked. And that's what you bring up when you have to talk about your children's father or your children's mother. That's what you bring up. And if that's the only thing, if it's only one thing, then you just continue with that one thing and don't say anything else, because they're going to get to know that parent if they're around. If they are not around and they've never met their parent, then there's nothing to talk about, right? There's nothing to say. If you were raped, you definitely may not want to mention that to your children until they are much older and able to handle it in a gentle manner emotionally. That is what happened, and that's how they were conceived. If you ever tell them that, you need to heal from that yourself first, okay? If you had a one-night stand and you got pregnant and you don't know this person and never was in contact with them again, that's a responsibility that you're going to have to own up to yourself and heal yourself from that decision that you made at that time. Has nothing to do with that child. So you want to always look at and check yourself and what you're saying to your child. And if you owe them an apology, you need to apologize. If they're old enough and you have said some things to them about their father or about their mother that was negative, that was degrading, that hurt them, because it hurts them when you do that. Look at their face. It hurts them when you do that. You need to apologize for that. You need to apologize right away. And you sit them down and you talk to them and you let them know that that had nothing to do with them. That was something inside you that you were projecting onto them. And you need to accept that, own it, don't run from it, own it, and then release it by forgiving yourself, accepting the fact that you did that, and apologize to your children so they can accept that as well, and they can begin to heal from that too. Okay? Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate that. And as always, work on yourself. I work on myself daily. I encourage you to do the same. I want to share with you, I just got a book I'm so excited about that I have been waiting to get this book for so long. And this book is called Heal Thyself. Heal Thyself by Queen Afua. And I have been waiting to get this book. I'm so excited. I can't wait to start reading this book. You know I am an avid reader. Those of you who have seen my videos, I am an avid reader. And so I look forward to reading that book. Right now, the book that my sons and I are reading is called The 45 Laws of Power. And so this is our book for our book club this month. And I don't know, we probably not going to finish it this month because we just started it. We just finished a previous book that we were reading, and we started on that one. So I encourage you to do things like that with your children. And hopefully you are spending some time with yourself, getting to know yourself, feeling what you feel. Should you ever want to talk to me, you can contact me via my email in the description. You can call me for a one-on-one connection at any time. I am here for you. I love you. I care about you. You're not alone. And I'm wishing you peace, prosperity, Ma'at Ra, Im Hotep.